Ourselves at the stadium that played host to Super Bowl 52, the wondrous U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Today, we've got a good Week 5 matchup in store here between the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. The first quarter of the season already in the rear-view mirror, and off we go in Week 5 on EA Sports. And no return on this one as the fair catch is signaled for and taken.
Let's go now. Unlock line. Unlock line. Hurt. Hurt. Right there. Right there. Hurt. Tempo. 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 Tempo.
Here's Joe Mixon as they start on the ground. He'll be dropped after a gain of about 6 across the 30 to the 31. Well, this defense for the Bears, they were very strong in the win last week over the Giants.
And I think our statistician, we ended up having to bring the blue tent and put it around him for a while because he was developing a hand injury from having to write down all the turnovers this team forced. 5, 6, 7, 8. Absolutely unbelievable. I hope he'll recover.
Back to Mixon on second down. And he's brought down at the 34. Call it a gain of 4.
Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play?
Just play number 3 here on the opening drive, and it's an early 3rd and 1. They give to Mixon to try to pick it up. And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36. The Vikings at 1-3 here in the early part of the year. Well, they were losers last time out, trying to turn things around here in this one.
And it always helps to have a home crowd behind you, giving you encouragement as long as you give them something good to cheer about. So you know they just want to come out and play well for their faithful, and I expect them to do just that.
And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete.
Well, sometimes the defense just beats you. Great coverage from the secondary, all of them in the proper position. So instead of trying to throw into tight coverage, he found a way to throw it away and come back and try again the next down.
On second down, here's Mixon. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. 2 yards the loss, and now 3rd and 12.
This defense is a difficult one to prepare for, one of the best in the league. They'll come at you from all angles, and they did a nice job there stopping him for a loss.
We'll see what they have drawn up here, a little bit behind the line. 12 yards needed to gain a first down. To throw, Huntley. And that is incomplete.
I will see more of them trying to get him the football out of the backfield. They love what he can do in open space, and they believe that he creates mismatches they can exploit.
So on 4th down, Ryan Wright on to punt for Minnesota. The speedster Dante Pettis back deep to return. Seven yards on the return after a punt of 39. And the Bears take over. Fields and the Bears now with a 1st and 10. Right at the 30. Now Herbert to start the drive. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. They'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
Well, that kind of hit will certainly fire up your team both on the field and on the sideline. Tackles for lost yardage, they're always welcome.
A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. On 2nd down, a run with Herbert. 2 runs in a row, but only 2 yards to show for it. They'll be in search of 8 yards here as they hope to convert the first down. Throwing on 3rd down, Fields. This pass on target, Velus Jones with it. And he will have the Bears first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Now that was pretty. They executed that curl route versus zone coverage, and that changes things a little bit because against man, it's often a tight curl, tight, sharply run route. Against zone, you're just looking for that open spot, that dead area, so you may curl it a little bit wider just to get to that place.
And usually a tight window. He fired a bullet in there for the completion. So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. A handoff for Herbert. 4 yards the gain, and it'll bring up a 3rd down.
That 2nd down play call was not to pick up the first down. It was to accomplish what they did to get them into a manageable 3rd down because they had incompletion on first down, so they were behind the sticks, so to speak. They needed to make up some ground, and they did.
From the 50, here's Fields. Looking downfield for Jones. And this is caught. Touchdown, Bears. Well, Charles, he's still a young signal caller in this league, 2nd year in the NFL. But I don't know if last year as a rookie, if he would have worked through his progressions like he did on that touchdown pass.
I think you're right about that. We're seeing him grow up right in front of our eyes because when he went to his primary read, he recognized that they were all over that as he continued to survey the field, picked up another target, delivered a pass exactly where it needed to be. A very mature play for the 2nd-year quarterback.
Now after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away. They'll elect to bring it out here from the end zone. And he'll be stopped right around where he would have been had he gone down to a knee, maybe a yard shy of there at the 24. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. The last series for them, a little disappointing, forced a punt. And now they'll try to do better here and come away with some points as they begin this drive. 1st and 10. The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6. Huntley to throw. Oh, into a sea of defenders, have intercepted. Kyler Gordon picks it off. And the Bears are going to take possession of the football. And this, Charles, definitely not what they were wanting to see. Remember, he threw 3 interceptions in the loss last week, and now he gives the ball away again here in the very first quarter.
And you have to think that this was drilled into him all week, too, by his teammates, by his coaching staff. They've told him all week long, we've got to protect the football. They probably crossed that fine line with giving him the right advice and saying it too much. And it turned out that it got into his head a little bit.
Stopped at the 24-yard line after a gain of 5.
With that kind of run on first down, that's a winning type of a run. That just sets things up for them moving forward as they begin the drive.
The first carry here for Ty Montgomery. And not much. Maybe a yard down to the 23.
Well, they didn't get a whole lot out of that one, but I think you got to continue to try and run and try and keep your defense honest.
You mean or else they'll just sit back, dare you to throw it on every down?
Yeah, you get your quarterback hit a lot that way, too.
Well, they were handed great starting field position on this drive, but now they face a 3rd and 4. Fields. Caught on the right side by Jones. And he will have the Bears first down as he'll be marked down a yard or two past the marker following a gain of 6. How about the first quarter he's putting together out wide? Pretty impressive.
I think that he likes the fact that we're playing this as a day game. You know, some guys, they respond better in the evenings. For some reason, it builds up. For this guy, day game, and he is off and running. You're exactly right. 100 might be conservative with the start that he's had here in the first quarter.
Yeah, by the numbers, he's on pace for 200-plus right now. Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete.
Excellent recognition that none of his receivers were beating coverage and getting open, so he just threw that one away. They'll come back to the huddle, reset, and try something different.
Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Fields under pressure, and he'll go down. They'll sack him on what ought to be the final play of this first quarter. The Bears with the football. We get set to begin quarter number 2 as they've got it with a 3rd down and long coming up. So now following the sack, Fields and the Bears looking at 3rd down and long. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Steps away to his left. And he's left with no option here but to throw it away.
Oh, that's going to hurt a bit because they needed to come through the completion there. Now a drive that started with great field position is facing 4th down.
The Fields is off, and on comes Cairo Santos for the Chicago field goal. Santos' kick is up and through, and that will extend their lead even further. So, Charles, they get to them with their first turnover of the game and then make it hurt a little bit extra with a field goal.
And anytime you give the ball up, what's the first thing a coach tells his defense? Don't let them score off of this. You've got to put out the fire. In fact, in 2021, that's what one NFL coach termed his defense. The firemen. Go out there, guys, and don't let them put some points on the board.
The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. They've shown precious little here offensively thus far as they try again with a first down now. Trying to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. Oh, going for Jefferson downfield. Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. And they're going to move it down inside the 25. In today's NFL, we talk about quarterbacks and their speed and accuracy, but there's still something about a guy slinging one downfield.
And to be honest, this first half hasn't been anything they'd be really proud about. So they needed something like this to change their fortunes. Now they need to make sure they finish this one off, not just with points, but with a touchdown.
Yeah, the next-gen stats showing that at an even 57 yards through the air. Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. Again, it's Mixon. Officially no gain on the play, and they're left with a 3rd and 8. In need of a conversion on 3rd down. They had the big play to start the drive. Not much sense. They'll bring a tight end in motion left.
18 Rattler, 70 Rangers, 70 Rangers. Corey, 70.
Here's Huntley. And it's caught in the end zone for the Viking touchdown by Justin Jefferson. A great play there. His 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Vikings are back within a score. Joseph connects on the extra point. And that'll cut it to 3 at 10-7. Now Joseph tees it up to kick off following the touchdown. And no thought to bring this one out. He'll just go down to a knee, and they'll take over at the 25. At the line, prepping for their next drive, the Bears offense. And they're not going to play this conservative, I don't think. They had the field goal last time, and they're up, but they're looking to put a drive in the end zone.
Oh, I agree with you totally. No one goes out on the field and says, all right, let's just settle for 3, except in certain situations, trying to ice a game, that sort of deal. Most of the time, it's end zone, and that's what you're thinking, and I believe that's exactly what they're thinking as they begin this one.
Yeah, no quarterback ever goes out there saying, hey, let's get 3, right?
Not one that I've ever met. And that was good protection there. No, that was great protection there because it allowed him to lock in on his receiver, although I think he was looking for his tight end on the corner route all the way. Nice connection there for a really nice gain.
And some nifty running here as he'll take this across midfield and down to the 47. It's a pickup of 10 and a Bears first down. Good push up front and that run in between the tackles.
Let's play the leverage game here. Offensive line just got lower than the defensive front, and they were able to get their pads on them and move them backwards and create space for their running back to roam.
Now left side, a completion to his tight end. And he's got room. And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds. Getting it to him in space pays off big time. That winds up going for 31. What a luxury to have a tight end that can not only catch it, but then can run after the catch like that.
What was the old expression back in the good old days? And they used to carry pianos on their backs when they were after they caught the football. Someone would stop and bang out a tune along the way as well. But nowadays, these guys are essentially bulked up wide receivers, and they are a full part of the passing game, and we see a lot of big plays as we just saw there.
Here's a give to Herbert. And they get to him quickly here as he's stopped right around the 13. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
Well, he hasn't made much of an impact in the running game thus far, and after that last run, not much is going to change in that area.
He hasn't been able to get anything going, and really the offensive line not helping him much. Another carry for Herbert on second down. And he'll fight forward maybe to the line of scrimmage, but that's all. No gain on the play, and it's going to bring out the third down.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
The Bears on third down. They've been good, 3 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 7. Fields now to throw. Oh, he rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked up by the linebacker, Jordan Hicks. And the Vikings are going to take possession here at their own 16-yard line.
Definitely not the ideal time to see that mistake, partner, because this is still a one-possession game, and that's at least a field goal that just vanished with that turnover. Now, pressure's on defensively to prevent that pick from turning into points for the other side.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. The football changing hands here, and as this offense takes the field, Charles, they'd be fine with more of the same on this upcoming drive. Last time out, they found the end zone for 6.
And they're certainly hoping for more of the same, but the game plan, I doubt it'll just be a carbon copy of the last drive, because I think this offense is ready to break out some new wrinkles and try some new things that might be hidden in the playbook. They want to use that confidence to its advantage, while also keeping the defense from anticipating what's up next.
Hey, let's go! Take the Lions! Get the average!
On 1st and 10, Huntley. And he just gets rid of it, throws it away. The wise move there, looked like nobody open, now second down.
To this point, I've been impressed with the work defensively. They have not allowed a lot of receivers to run free. And there's another example, another incompletion.
Ready.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down.
70 Timberwolves. Mustang 19. Ready.
Back to throw. Huntley completes it to the fullback, Ham. 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5. They'll need 5 on this play to move the sticks. From the gun on 3rd down. Huntley. That's caught by the big tight end, T.J. Hockenson. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. They'll look to throw again. Going down the middle, and it's complete. Touchdown, Vikings. Bryan Edwards, his first touchdown on the year. And the Vikings will take the lead here in the final minute of the first half. Joseph connects on the extra point, and the lead is now 14-10. Now Joseph tees it up to kick off following the touchdown. And no thought to bring this one out. He'll just go down to a knee, and they'll take over at the 25. They'll bring a receiver in motion right. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. This is Chase Claypool on the receiving end. It'll go as a gain of 25 on a play that started back at the 25. It's a gain of 25 yards. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw.
Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted.
Picked off by Harrison Smith. And the Vikings are going to take over here up near the 40.
But those have been a problem for him all season, but never quite as much as they have in these last few minutes. He's counted up now. A pair of picks on his team's last 2 drives and double-digit interceptions this season. I don't care if you're the best in the game or an undrafted rookie. You've got to take better care of the football or you're going to cost your team chances.
Throwing on 1st down. Huntley. And a loose football. And this is picked up by the Bears. And the possession is theirs at their own 43-yard line. A little careless with the football, and he also had a fumble loss last week, didn't he?
He certainly did, and when I'm watching him play, the one thing that comes to mind is always remember, traffic, turbulence, people around you, 2 hands. Get 2 hands on the ball. Grip it tight. I know it looks cool to have it in one hand. Put it away. Tuck it away because you've got to take care of the ball.
So the 14 yards actually takes him from 143 to the other for 1st and 10. A shotgun snap. Fields. Over the middle. That's caught by Claypool. And he's going to be taken down at the 28-yard line. So we've reached halftime here in Minnesota with the Vikings on top. As we'll send you down to Orlando, and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. And we welcome you back live now inside the booth alongside Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gordon, set and ready to rock for the 3rd quarter. The Bears going to see the football first, and they trail here as we get back underway to start this 2nd half. Taken from about the 12. And he'll go down as this drive will start at the 25-yard line. The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. Well, Charles, we saw a pretty entertaining first half, close ball game. Remember there toward the end of the 2nd quarter, the opposition scored to take the lead. Now we'll see if these guys can get a score of their own to regain that lead.
Yeah, they want to have that type of a response, don't they? Because they want to find a way to take control of this ball game one more time. Gauntlet's been thrown down. They want to see if they're ready to answer it.
And he's brought down at the 34. Call it a gain of 4.
I have to think a major focus at the halftime meetings had to be figuring out how to create make space for the running game to get operating.
Well, what you pointed out to me at half seems accurate. That line has struggled to sustain blocks.
Yeah, I would agree with that totally. They've got to focus on standing their double teams at the first level, make sure that block's secure before they slide off and try and chip someone at the second level.
He was held without a catch in the first half, but he's got one here, and he also picks up a first down. On play action, Fields. And he's going to be intercepted a third time. Picked up by the linebacker, Jordan Hicks.
Well, I certainly think that we're seeing a big reason why this team is struggling to put points on the board so far, because too many of their drives have ended in turnovers already, and we still have almost a full half of football yet to play.
The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. They'll start in excellent field position following the INT. Throwing to start the drive. Huntley. And he's got this to Jefferson. Touchdown, Vikings!
In order to lead in a game, you have to get plenty of contributors, but that's his second touchdown catch of this game. He's one of the key guys in this one.
And you better believe he'll be looking for the hat trick here as this one continues to go. Joseph connects on the extra point, and that makes it a 21-10 game. Now Joseph tees it up to kick off following the touchdown. This is taken just shy of the 10 and taken down just past the 20 at about the 21-yard line. At the line, prepping for their next drive, the Bears offense. So now, Charles, this drive maybe a touch more important, trying to erase the memory of that interception they had the last time out.
Yeah, and everyone goes through this because even the best of the game, you're going to have games where it just doesn't go right for you and interceptions result. So, frankly, to me, it's all about how you respond, not just the types of plays that you call, but how you carry yourself, how you show your team that you're still with it, and how you continue to lead.
Found a little room there as he's up to about the 37. It'll be a pickup of 5 on the keeper. It's second down. Off play action, Fields. Open man, completes it to Claypool. And this is going to turn into another first down as the tackle is made at the Vikings' 44-yard line. 19 yards the pickup there. Move the chains. Now a first down throw, Fields. And that is incomplete. Oh, the coverage a little too good there, and it's second down.
You get the sense that they're saying we're not playing up to what we're capable of, and we're deep enough into the game that the early jitters are long gone, that they should now have some sense of continuity and be able to make some of these plays that they have not been doing so far.
And now the Vikings are going to stop it here on defense with a timeout. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this third quarter. Second and 10. Fields again. Pressure coming from the Vikings, and they get there and bring him down. As Darius Smith there getting in and bringing him to the ground. So now following the sack, Fields and the Bears looking at third down and long. Here's Fields. This one caught over the middle. It's Oliver, the tight end. Able to convert on 3rd and 14. A terrific play call.
And that's well executed there on third down. And I love the confidence that they had to let their tight end try and find some space in the middle of the field, right in their quarterback's line of vision. And QBs love to make that easy throw, and they hooked up there for a first down.
Looking left side, and it's complete. Touchdown, Darnell Mooney, 33 yards. And the Bears have got it back to within a score. A nice throw there by the second-year quarterback.
And I don't believe that was the kind of play he would have made as a rookie, because usually your rookie season is a continuation of your college days. A lot of one read, and if you don't have it, you just take off and go. Now he's settled in the pocket a little bit more, reading the field and getting to a second and sometimes third progression. That was a nice play.
Now after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away. And there will not be a return here. It's a touchback, and it'll come out to the 25-yard line. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. Well, partner, coaches always say that every play is designed to score a touchdown. Sometimes that's not really true, but last drive, that was the case. One play to get into the end zone, and now they'll try to duplicate that success here.
And it's rare for those moments to happen. Incredible when they do. And you saw the celebration. Pure, unbridled joy after that one. Most of their damage has been done through the air. I mean, they've rung the bell 3 times with passing touchdowns, but guess what? Ground game has not been neglected. Nice little burst right there.
One play has him up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10. It's Mixon on the counter. And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it. The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. Looking to throw. Huntley, going for Jefferson downfield. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. Keep in mind, he had the 3-interception game last week, so we requested to talk with him this week. He was all smiles. He's still all smile.
Yeah, we didn't jinx him at all, did we?
No.
Because ordinarily that happens. Things fall off, but not in this case. I think a lot of it goes back to his technique. His ability to see the quarterback throw the ball while understanding where the receiver is running his route allows him to make a lot of plays on the football, and he's taking it away at a really high rate.
Now with the play clock about to expire, we get a whistle and a timeout. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this third quarter. Here's Fields. He's got a man, complete. A huge play there for Chicago. 43 yards. Charles, you talk so much about quick change plays. There's one right there. You get the turnover, and boom, hit him with a big one.
And defenses plan for this all the time. They work on it in practice. But in the middle of the game, when that quick change takes place, oftentimes guys aren't as focused as they need to be.
And we've got movement. I think this is against the Bears here. Let's find out. So they accept the penalty, of course, and push the offense backwards a bit. A false start backs him up 5, 1st and 15. To throw is Fields. There's Mooney with another catch. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work this to the 45.
I love the drive they're working on here because they know they can take the lead with a touchdown. And so far on this drive, so good. They moved the ball down the field with very little resistance defensively. But they better be prepared for some adjustments to come their way now.
They'll try the middle with Montgomery. And he will be taken down, but a big pickup there on what's going to be the final play of the third quarter. And we return, welcoming you back to Minneapolis. It's been a very hotly contested game to this point. Just a field goal separating these two teams as we get set for the fourth quarter. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. And he takes this one in for a Bears touchdown. Darnell Mooney with his second touchdown of the game, 4th of the year. And the Bears have taken a fourth-quarter lead. Santos able to tack on the extra point, and that will make this a 4-point game. Now, after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. Now, the bad news for them, they've seen that cushion they once had totally evaporate, and they're working from behind. The good news, they now have the opportunity to regain the lead right back.
19 right.
Mixon gets the nod to start the drive. He'll be dropped after a gain of about 6 across the 30 to the 31. The last run got 6, now 2nd and 4. He's going to use his legs here. And he'll slip his way up across the 30 to the 32. He'll get 2 on the keeper, but it becomes now a 3rd down.
Anytime you decide to use your quarterback as a runner, most of the time when you design a play, you're expected to break a little bit bigger than this one, because when you run him on short gains, your risk-reward and him taking hits, I'm not sure that's the payoff they were looking for.
The Vikings on 3rd down. They've been good, 3 for 4 thus far. Here it's 3rd and 3. To throw, Huntley. This one incomplete. Probably should have been picked. A little nonchalant with the throw to the safety valve, but it's 4th down.
How about some applause for the defense there? They forced him to throw that one into coverage, and just like that, they're staring at a 4th down. Well done.
Let's go. Dragon 60. Buffalo 18. Read alert.
As expected, they're going for it to keep the drive alive. Being chased out left. He's got his man, T.J. Hockenson. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. How about them biting off 15 yards there on the 4th down attempt and keeping the drive alive?
Okay, break.
Huntley to throw. Going back to the same well, it's Hockenson again. He is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. A good pickup there, 26 yards. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
So into Bear territory now. This is 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line. Back to throw again. And it's caught in the end zone for the Viking touchdown by Justin Jefferson. A great effort there. 26 yards. And the Vikings answer back with a touchdown of their own to take a 4th-quarter lead. And now remember, all touchdowns are reviewed, and in a tight game like this, they're going to take a good long look at it. So they called it a touchdown originally, and this will stay a touchdown after the video review, so they had it right. Joseph connects on the extra point, and that gives him a 3-point lead. Now Joseph tees it up to kick off following the touchdown. And no thought to bring this one out. He'll just go down to a knee, and they'll take over at the 25. The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. And they will be looking to answer the touchdown their defense just surrendered. Still a good chunk of time remaining here in the fourth quarter and a chance to regain the lead in a tight one. Fields throw there, complete to Mooney. And they're able to get this one across the 35. Nice way to start the drive, a gain of 12 and a first down.
And here we are in the fourth quarter, partner, and watch them drive for what would be a go-ahead touchdown. And you and I both know this is where you need a quarterback who can keep his cool back there. Not just for himself, but to keep the rest of the team relaxed too.
Steps away. And he wisely will throw that one away.
Understanding he's just down one possession, trying to make something happen by extending the play, but the coverage downfield was excellent. He escaped and bought some time, but that one goes incomplete.
An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. From the gun, here's Fields. Jones has it. And this will be stopped at the 44. That one good for 7 yards.
One thing you're hoping for when you're on drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he get a good head of steam going.
And that one off the mark, a little late with the throw. The other day they told us when we've got 3rd and 5 or less, we have to be able to convert. And I guess every team would say that, Charles, but an opportunity missed there.
What they were trying to tell us is they believe it's a matchup game at that point, and they liked some matchups that they had, thought they could exploit them, unable to do so on that play.
4th down, Fields has to have this one. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. And the Vikings are going to have it here just past the 25. Boy, so another interception, CD, and it feels like he's starting to unravel a little bit.
And as you would expect, still a work in progress here in his 2nd season. He has to start ironing out some of these mistakes, though, because now his head coach, his offensive coaches, they have to evaluate whether you keep playing him and let him work through it, or you start thinking about going to his backup.
They'll try to eat some clock with Mixon. And he'll manage to pick up about 4. It's 2nd down.
Brandon, you know how many times we've done games, and at the start of the fourth quarter, we see both teams hold up the 4 fingers, fourth quarter is ours. Well, how about this drive? You saw the 4 fingers for 4-minute offense, and this offensive line has really hunkered down and established themselves.
Now, this is where they say, put the game on our shoulders, we'll lead the way, right?
No doubt about it, and let me tell you, if you're a running back, all you want to do is get behind those big fellas, have a little vision, and find some space.
And a solid way to do that on the first play of the drive there. Just a gain of a yard there, and now it'll be 3rd down. Now, the objective there, I mean, yes, the positive gain, that's nice, but work some clock.
Yeah, you're exactly right, but the problem for them is still within a possession, so they can't just sit on it running the ball. They'll have to find a way to throw it effectively as well.
On 3rd down, Mixon. And he'll slip his way up across the 30 to the 32. Just a gain of 2 there, and it's going to bring up a 4th down. He handed it off there, but I don't really know if he would have kept it or tried to do anything else if it would have mattered.
Yeah, it's not always a wrong read when a play gets stacked up. Sometimes they're just at the line of scrimmage. There's just too many bodies to maneuver.
And as a result, now they're looking at a 4th down. And here's Ryan Wright now as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. On the return is Pettis. Less than 2 to play with just a field goal separating these two sides. So the Bears with the football here as we welcome you back. They come up on a 1st and 10, desperately needing a score here on what could be their final drive. At the line, prepping for their next drive, the Bears offense. Here comes another drive from this unit, and Charles, they're coming off a costly mistake on the last possession, an interception in a game that is very close right now.
Well, as we know, they all sting no matter what the situation, but in a one-possession game, that'll hurt a little bit more, but this is an excellent opportunity to make up for it on this drive. I just don't expect them to try and take huge gambles to make up that momentum in a hurry.
Now a nice throw here right side. He hauls it in.
And that was yardage that they needed there after the sack on first down. They didn't get all of it back, but now they look at third down as a manageable situation, whether they have a much better chance of picking up.
All eyes on Fields. And that's intercepted yet again, and that could be the backbreaker. Picked off by Lewis Sheen. And he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. Making back-to-back weeks now with a pick six for him. He had one a week ago.
Talk about being in the groove, but what are the odds of what we're seeing right here? You don't see it happen very often. Listen, if you get a pick six in a season, it's been a big year, let alone back-to-back weeks. I'll tell you this, I wouldn't play cards against this guy in the locker room.
So they throw the pick six. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. On the return, it's Tristan Ebner from his end zone. The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. They might be thinking this is close to a lost cause here. Got to play it out. What do they need to do?
Well, they have a thought process in mind already, but they can't get ahead of themselves. They know that they need to score quickly.
Yep, two-score game.
Onside kick and get the ball back, and then score again. But they can't worry about the last 2 points. The only thing that matters is scoring quickly. Then they'll take it from there.
Able to hit his target, Claypool. Now the Bears will use their third and final timeout as they'll stop it with 25 ticks remaining on the clock. With that last completion, CD's now over 400 yards passing in the game, and quite a few of those have come via some pretty big strikes downfield. Certainly not afraid to challenge this secondary, and it's been successful.
I like your observation there, partner, because I agree.
And this is intercepted, and that should do it. And the Vikings are going to have it here just past the 25. So a nice play defensively by the rookie coming up with the INT.
And that's a late-round pick right there, making a first-round impact. And a lot of these day three corners end up winding up on special teams and sub-packages and even on the practice squad. But he's really made an impact on this defense, and he comes up with the interception there.
That one looks like he'll throw here. Oh, going for Jefferson downfield. And got his man complete. Now the Vikings will use the second of their timeouts. That'll leave them with just one remaining in this fourth quarter play. So now then, the big play has them all the way inside the 30 now, 1st and 10. Here's the option going right. And he will lose yardage here to the 31-yard line. Now the offense will burn their third and final timeout. And as the two teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. Now they contend with a 2nd and 12 after the loss. Here's Huntley. And he'll be out of bounds, able to get it down to the 25 there. 6 yards there off the scramble, but it'll still leave him with a 3rd down.
I like his thought process and his ability to move and get downfield. But what I didn't like was the final decision, to go out of bounds. They want to keep the clock moving. Instead, they give the defense an extra timeout.
In need of a conversion on 3rd down. They had the big play to start the drive. Not much sense. Back to throw. Huntley. He's going to take a shot for the end zone. And that's going to be too high. Out of bounds and incomplete. Well, this was a very close ball game at halftime, Charles, but in the second half, that offense kind of kicked things into another gear, and they were able to pull away from victory.
And Brandon, I think they're the type of team that just looked in the mirror and said, hey, ton of pressure on. We're the type of team that can flat out handle it. They stood up with confidence, and made it happen for a victory.